Hey guys, and welcome to another Warship Wednesday with me. So, we're nearly up to date with the backlog of things, and I'm happy to say that this is going to be the last model review before I start talking about my newer model kits. So, yay, we're there at long last. I did say I didn't get rid of all my kits, guys. So technically this one that I've got here is not actually the oldest, but she is relatively one of the newest ones I've actually finished building. As a matter of fact, I finished building it earlier on this year. But let's talk about her and her history in bits and pieces. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you Battleship Borodino, and I believe that's how she's pronounced. So Battleship Borodino was one of the 5 Borodino class battleships built for the Imperial Russian Navy back in its last couple of years of its heyday. Obviously we all know what happened to the Russians. They had a massive revolution, then the Soviet Union, and then this and that and the other. Anyway, we didn't come to talk about that. Let's talk a bit about the ship herself. So Borodino, like I said before, she was the first of 4 ships built. She was built in 1901 and she was ready to go by 1904. Didn't last very long, no, bless her. Borodino and 2 of her sisters, the Kanetsky Koyuz, I believe that's how she's pronounced, and the Alexander III, or Imperator Alexander III, were all lost at the Battle of Tsushima on the 27th of May 1905. So a total 3 out of 5 of the ships didn't survive. Aurel, I believe that's how she's pronounced, did actually live to carry on till 1924, between 1925. So Aurel was the one that got scrapped. And the last one, yeah, poor unfortunate that she was, Slava, lasted till the 17th of October 1917, when she was scuttled during the Battle of Moon Sound. So yeah, the class did not last very long whatsoever. So these ships, guys, they are tiny. We have got a ship that is barely 400 feet long, weighs just over 14,646 tons. So in case you guys are wondering, I'll give you the exact estimates. All the Borodinos were 397 feet long, which is 121 metres. They had a beam of 67 feet 1 inch, or 23.2 metres. And then they had a draft of 29 feet, which was 8.84 metres. They did have an installed propulsion power of 15,800 IPH, which was also 12,155 kilowatts of power. Had a propulsion system that was produced by 20 Beville boilers and 2 shafts and 2 steam triple expansion engines. So yeah, this ship is a pre-dreadnought, guys, and given that she can go at a pedestrian dreadnought speed of 18 knots, so 21 miles per hour. So yeah, in case you guys are wondering why I'm able to get this ship in the shot, she is the smallest in my collection. But it gives you an idea on how big battleships were right at the beginning of the 1900s. They were tiny. Lots and lots of guns, but they were tiny, and this was the standard layout for a couple of years. See, the Borodinos were armed with 12-inch guns. They had 2 double-barreled turrets, 1 forward and 1 aft. They were backed up by a secondary battery of 6-inch guns, double-barreled, so you had 2 here, and 2 in the back there. Multitude of smaller secondary guns for anti-destroyer and torpedo boat work, and yeah, just this thing was bristling with guns. If that didn't make an insult to injury, she also carried torpedoes. Standard loadout, 1 in the bow, 1 in the stern, 1 port, 1 starboard, and that's basically what I had to say about that, really. The armour belt on the Borodinos was Krupp. It was on the belt. It was 7.6 to 5.7 inches, or 194 to 145 millimeters. The deck was 2 to 1 inch, or 51 to 25 millimeters, and the turrets were the toughest. They had 10 inches, which is 254 millimeters. That's basically the logistics of the ships. So, let's talk a bit about the model itself. So, Borodino, you can actually get her at the moment, although she's quite rare to get her hands on, guys, and I do have some history with this particular ship, because this is not the first time I built her. As a matter of fact, you may or may not recall once again, it's been a good 10 years, but back when I started doing YouTubing, I did build the Mikasa, 1350 just like Borodino here. And I wanted to get my hands on a couple of more pre-dreadnoughts, and at the time there was no Schleswig-Holstein, there was no Danton from France, there was no Lord Nelson from England. You know, there were none of those. I couldn't get my hands on them, didn't know they existed. And Borodina popped up one day on eBay. I picked her up, started building her, and my original model of her was not very clever, guys, unfortunately. You see, it turns out that this model was made back in 2005. I don't know how old Zvezda, that's the model company that built this model ship, is, but when I bought the first version of Borodino, I had issues. Main deck wasn't fitting, had issues with the bridge, had issues with the secondary bridge, had issues with all sorts of things going on with it, so I scrapped it and left it, never thought about it again. And then this guy pops up just a couple of months ago. Brought her, and she's gone together spectacularly well. No fitting issues whatsoever. You know, everything just went together very well. Bit of flash here and there, but nothing really crucial to talk about. Again, Zvezda kits, you either get flash or you don't. And lots and lots of lovely bits of detail too. I'm very impressed with how she has really come out there, really. The only things I don't like about Borodino, about this particular model kit, is, well, you can probably tell there's one thing missing here. There are usually 4 anchors, 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. I didn't put them on because they were absolutely horrible. So I've got a couple of anchors which I had left over from my older Borodino kit, stuck them on the side, and yeah, that's basically where they sit there. So you can see them nice and clearly there. The other thing I didn't like is the stand, so I modified it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the stand itself is nice. You can put your name plaque of the ship in question you want onto it, but it does only come with 2 of those bollards, I suppose you could call them. And balancing Borodino on those was ridiculous. So I found 2 more, made a nice even out shape for them, and she sits on there perfectly, which I'm very happy with. So yeah, there are 2 dislikes I didn't like about the model kit. So let's talk about the colours, because I do remember the colours of this one pretty well. Again, we're getting into time now where I'm actually remembering the colours off the back of my head. So, oxide red for the bottom of the ships. Now, the colour, black, well, it's a black, because the Borodinos were a type of black when they were first commissioned. Believe it or not, that is actually NATO grey. Yes, some of you might know this, but that colour is NATO grey, but it's the closest shade I could get to her that I actually had. I could have just painted her black like I've done with the tops of the smokestacks there, but I decided not to because obviously I wanted her to stand out just a bit, make her look like a proper dreadnought, and obviously make her look a little bit authentic to what she may have looked like just before getting sunk in the Battle of Tsushima. So that's the colour I went with there. The deck itself is painted, and it has also been washed. So I used a light brown, I think it was a Humble 64, 63, it was one of the Humble browns. So I put that on, dried it overnight, then I applied a track crush to the track wash to the top of the wooden deck areas, and as you can see it's gone between the planks, and it has settled pretty well across the whole ship's main deck, including on the interior there. As you can see, I've also done all that in there. You can see gold in places, guys. This was a time where ships had brass and all those bits and pieces on there, so I used a bit of greedy gold, shining silver, you know, bits to make it really, really stand out, which is what I wanted to do. The colours up here are to represent, what's the word? Vinyl, that's the word, yeah. to represent vinyl decks. So I used a brown, and I can't remember what the brown was called, but I know it was, actually I think I've got it here, haven't I? Yes, believe it or not, this possibly is the colour used. Yeah, flat brown, because I didn't use too much there. It doesn't look like flat brown, but I recall using that. So I used that on the vinyl areas of the decks, in the tops of the both of the masts, and also on the launches and lifeboats and other bits and pieces. So yeah, overall guys, I'm very impressed with Borodino this time round. I'm very happy with her. Obviously she won't be on her own for too long. I do have other ships lined up sometime in the foreseeable future to put with her. She's Vic Holstein. I'm going to try and get her in the 1904 configuration. I'm thinking about getting Danton again, maybe Makassa. We'll have to wait and see how we go with that. But at the moment, Borodino sits proudly on a shelf of her own, just waiting for companionship. That's basically it really, guys. I do recommend this model kit. Just keep your eyes out on which version you get, guys. This is the 2008 version, or 2007 version, I do believe, of Borodino. So they've retooled her, they've remodeled her, made her look a lot more cleaner, and yeah, she's obviously much more better improved than the original one I worked back with this time 10 years ago. I will also say this, if you guys are interested, there are model kits of her sisters out there. I've seen someone build a model of the Aurel, the Knezhki Kuyuz, I believe. I'm trying to pronounce that word. Is it Knezhki? No, Knezhki Sovorov, not Kuyuz. What I'm talking about. So there's one of her out there. You can get Alexander III, ironically, in the same configuration with Borodino here. It does come with a small set, so you can choose whether to choose the Borodino or the Alexander. So in a way, you can build all 5 ships. Yes, you guys are wondering, there are no flags. Not sure what happened, but there were no flags with my model kit of the Borodino, so sadly no Imperial Russian emblems and no waving any flags. Bit sad really, but it is what it is. Last thing I will mention is, can you get photo etch bits of this? Yes, you definitely can. You can get any practical photo etch ratings to this model kit, guys, to go around the main deck, around the bridge area and all those bits and pieces. But honestly, I do like how she looks without all the photo etch. It just gives her that characteristics, and she's got plenty of detail. You know, she's not completely covered in things, but you can definitely obviously get upgrade kits if that is what you want to do. So that's it for Borodino, guys. My smallest model ship in my collection, and the most, well, I'll tell you what, in the Warhammer universe, this would definitely be an orc ship. Just guns, Dakar, everywhere, just lots of Dakar. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. So, next model review will be HMS Belfast, believe it or not, which is the most newest model I have built, apart from the other 2, which we will do as we go along. So, thank you guys for watching. Have a nice weekend, have a nice weekend. Look after yourselves out there, and take care. Ta-ta for now.